under any circumstances, a fucking almost 60-year-old man shouldn't be fighting a 27-year-old guy under any circumstances, even if it's Mike Tyson. So
the controversial fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson got postponed due to Mike's deteriorating health condition, with many speculating that the fight might not happen at all. This all started when Tyson reportedly suffered a medical emergency on a plane scheduled to fly from Miami to Los Angeles. According to the New York Post, Tyson's representatives say that Tyson became nauseous and dizzy due to an ulcer flare-up about 30 minutes before the plane landed, but is in good condition now. Even Mike Tyson made sure that he was doing okay and was ready to knock out Jake Paul on the fight night. He posted, "Now feeling 100% even though I don't need to beat Jake Paul." But this wasn't the case, as the fight got postponed just after a few days of the incident, indicating that Mike hasn't fully recovered to compete on July 20th. Tyson was upset about not being able to compete, but looked optimistic about making his return. Not only this, Mike also warned Jake, saying that this roadblock just gave Jake more time until he gets knocked out. He stated, "Unfortunately, due to my ulcer flare-up, I have been advised by my doctor to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover. My body is in better overall shape than it has been since the 1990s, and I will be back to my full training schedule soon. Jake Paul, this may have bought you some time, but in the end, you will still be knocked out and out of boxing for good." Jake Paul reacted to this news by saying that he's disappointed about the fight getting postponed, but also wishes Mike to get healthy so they could fight.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, like gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event, the whole undercard. This opportunity has been ripped from all of us, but I do value Mike's health first and foremost. Love that guy, I have so much respect for him, and I want Mike to be healthy. And he says he still is gonna knock me out, and I bought myself some time. So Mike is still talking shit over there. But Mike, if you want to do this, like you said, behind closed doors, behind the scenes, you've said you want to do this in Q4. You just need a little bit of time. So I'm ready whenever you are. This is too big of an opportunity. I think this fight's going to change the world, and I turn all my L's into W's. That's a motto I live by, and the universe makes no mistakes. So let's see what's in store. But sorry this didn't work out. To everyone, the fans, love you guys.
As of right now, no new date for the fight has been announced. Both Paul and Tyson said that they will announce a new date for the fight the following week, which would be in the coming days. However, Crix Mannix says that there are genuine concerns from undercard fighters of Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul regarding the event not seeing the light of day.
Genuine concern from people that are also on the card. I mean, there are a number of other fights that are on the card about this specific card moving forward. I mean, again, Mike Tyson is 57 years old. He's almost 58 years old. They're saying it's a minor ulcer issue, but I don't think anything's minor at that stage kind of your life, especially when it comes to putting yourself in the proper shape to fight a professional boxing match. So right now the plan is to reschedule this fight for the fall of this year, but there is some concern amongst people involved with the fight that the Paul Tyson fight might not go through at all. And some of the fighters on this card might be looking for kind of lifeboats to appear on other cards moving forward.
Wow.
Despite the doubts, Mannix clarified that the fight is not entirely off the table, but acknowledged the growing skepticism among those involved. He stated, "It's certainly not out of the question. But again, there are people involved who are expressing skepticism that this specific fight is going to move forward." Dana White was critical of the fight from the day it got announced. However, when asked what he has to say after the fight got postponed, Dana said that he has no comments for the first time ever about something. He added that it's Mike's world, and his decision on how he wants to proceed with this fight.
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is delayed. I know you're close with Mike. I guess, are you happy that they're looking out for his health in that instance? And do you even think it should be rescheduled, period, given this ulcer flare-up?
100%. Yeah, obviously I know a lot about it, but I'm not going to talk about it publicly. Yeah, you know. Yeah. For the first time probably ever in my life, I have no comment on something. That's Mike's world, and you know he gets pissed at me every time I talk about that stuff. Good for him, and they'll figure it out.
However, Jake and his brother Logan Paul's bitter rival Dylan Dennis says that he knows why Mike has pulled out of the fight. He exclaims that there's a reason why Dana didn't speak a word about it, indicating that he might be holding in a thing or two. Dylan also bashed Jake and called him a scumbag for not canceling this fight after knowing the condition of the 58-years-old Mike Tyson. Dylan posted, "I know the reason Mike Tyson had to postpone the fight. I spoke to his close friend, and like Dana White said, he knows, but doesn't want to get involved in respect to Mike. It's actually truly sad what's going on. Jake Paul, you're truly a scumbag for knowing what he's going through and not ending this." With many believing that the fight might not actually happen, there are notable names that have offered themselves as a replacement for Mike Tyson to fight Jake Paul. In a surprising turn of events, Roy Jones Jr., who fought Tyson in an unscored exhibition match 4 years ago, has expressed interest in stepping in as Tyson's replacement. Jones Jr., a former multi-division world champion, revealed his willingness to take on Paul, stating, "I'm kind of thinking about that. I might try and get into shape in case that happens." Roy said that he's willing to get in shape and face Paul if the fight between Jake and Tyson gets canceled. He added, "Maybe I get myself in shape for that. I never thought about doing it before, but with the situation of the fight, I think that's a great idea, and I'll be ready and in shape, because if the fight doesn't happen, then the ideal guy to substitute in place of Mike Tyson to fight Jake Paul is something I have been thinking about. If the fight is out there, then yes." Jones retired from professional boxing 6 years ago, but made a return last September for a one-off fight against former UFC champion Anthony Pettis, where he lost on points. However, Jones believes that if he gets in shape and fights Jake Paul by replacing Tyson, it would be one of the biggest fights of the decade. "I would jump on it, but now that this thing has come up, it makes sense to get into shape with Jake Paul, and it would be one of the biggest fights of this decade." Well, Roy Jones is not the only one who's willing to replace Mike Tyson to fight Jake. Amir Khan insists he will step in for Tyson providing Paul comes down in weight. He stated, "If the weights are right, I would step in for Mike Tyson. I don't mind giving away 20 pounds. It just depends on the weight because I know Jake has put on a lot of weight to fight Mike. Jake's not normally that big, but he's put on a lot of mass, so it depends on him, whether he's willing to lose that weight, and we find some middle ground somewhere." Amir Khan is also expected to make his return to the ring against another rival of Jake Paul, KSI. Khan says that he has no say in replacing Tyson, but if the fight goes through and after he deals with KSI, he can knock out Jake Paul too. Khan added, "Let's see, but I've had no calls about that, so I assume they're still hoping to fight Mike. He's not going to want to take a beating before that, but it's KSI who has been speaking the big game, and once he's taken a beating, and if I'm going to do that, I may as well bang both of them out. I'd take on KSI first, and then knock Jake Paul out after that. Let's see how he looks against Mike Tyson. If he gets knocked out badly, I wouldn't entertain it, but if he looks really good, then it would be worth entertaining." But the list doesn't end there, as Jake's own brother Logan Paul has put forward his wish to replace Mike Tyson and go for a brother versus brother clash. Paul took to X and posted, "So Mike Tyson's out? I'll step in and we can settle this once and for all, Jake Paul." However, Jake responded to this offer by saying that their mother won't fancy the sight of him knocking out Logan, but also said that if the fight happens, the loser has to change his last name. Jake responded, "Mom doesn't want me to KO you, but f*** it. Loser has to change their last name." But Jake put forward his idea to face his bitter rival KSI on July 20th. This fight has been the talk of the town for a long time now, with both the influencers accusing each other of ducking. Jake posted, "KSI's coach saying he is over 200 lbs right now, so no weight excuses. Let's run it for July 20th, and then Paul versus Tyson in October, November." KSI was never a fan of the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. That's why when Jake offered the fight to him, KSI bashed him and put out a counter-proposal for their fight. He posted, "I've already got a fight lined up in August. Instead of you fighting an old age person at the end of the year, no one wants to see this. Fight me in December instead." Paul responded quickly by making fun of KSI's huge forehead and restating his schedule. "I just gave KSI and his forehead the opportunity again for July. He said he's fighting in August. Cool, I'm fighting in October, November. February it is. 200 pounds. MSG. NYC. Get it done. Most valuable promotions." However, KSI didn't stop there, as he responded to a post which explained that Tyson experienced blood loss due to his ulcer and might not be able to fight. KSI posted, "If this is true, cancel the fight already." Former UFC legend Chael Sonnen exclaimed that he is the man lined up to replace the 58-year-old. In a series of posts on X, Sonnen claimed Paul wrote him into the contract as Tyson's backup. He posted, "I guess it was wise of Jake Paul to write me into the contract as Tyson's backup, wasn't it?" Chael didn't stop there, as he threatened Jake about fighting him. He posted, "If Jake Paul realizes he might be fighting me in a month, he may be the one having a heart attack." Sonnen also suggested that his June 15th boxing match against old UFC rival Anderson Silva in Brazil is a tune-up ahead of that potential opening. Maybe the Anderson Silva tune-up with Spate in Brazil makes a little more sense now, doesn't it? Ryan Garcia also offered to step in for Tyson, should he be unable to take on YouTuber-turned-boxer Paul. Garcia posted a screenshot of his DM with Jake Paul, in which he texted Paul about filling in for the fight if Mike is unable to compete. But Jake Paul didn't take this well, and pointed out Ryan for seeking attention in order to get some clicks and likes. He replied, "You love to make before knowing the facts for clicks, likes, nothing changed. Keeping in mind that the fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson might not happen, UFC legend Dimitri Johnson also says that Jake should look for other opponents as Tyson might not be able to recover considering he's 58 years old. DJ also put forward his distaste and said that the fight shouldn't happen now.
So I don't know what his health history is, I guess you can say. And I think the biggest thing is you have someone who's 58 years old trying to push his body to the absolute limit, moving, and I don't know if he's sparring or anything like that. And I love Jake Paul. I just think I would like to see Jake Paul fight. There's so many fucking boxers out there that he can fight and pad his record with. And I understand Mike Tyson is a big name and Netflix wants to do it, but I don't think they should revisit it. I think there's plenty of guys out there that, Jake Paul can fight, and KSI is one of them. He can fight T. Wood again. He can fight Mike Perry, Platinum.
Now that there are speculations about this fight's future, it was always a controversial topic for many pros the moment the spectacle got announced. Considering that a young Jake Paul in his prime is facing an old Mike Tyson didn't sit well with many. Some worried about Mike's health, while others questioned Jake's legitimacy as a boxer. But Mike looked in tremendous shape with him posting training footage on a regular basis, which showed that he's in great shape even at such an age.
Jab cross leg, 1, 2, 3. Jab cross leg. Cross. Step.
Little flat out. He did move. That's experience. Experience fighters do that.
Side 3.
Mike also said that he's eating raw meat and also sees Jake Paul as one.
How did you feel about the guys you were in the ring with?
I wanted to kill them.
Well, I can tell. Why did, I'm laughing nervously. You really felt that way? You wanted
Yeah.
So when you knocked him out, you were satisfied, happy?
Oh, I don't even want to say yeah, kind of, yeah.
What don't you want to say?
It wasn't good enough. At that time in my life, it wasn't good enough.
You wanted to keep going?
I wanted to crush his spirit. I don't want him to ever think he could beat me.
At first, the fight between the two was deemed as an exhibition, but later it turned into a pro fight. Not just that, once the fight turned pro, Jake said that one of them would die in the ring, which worried the boxing world about Mike Tyson's well-being even more.
But yes, I'm going in there and now it's a pro fight. It's on my record and I'm going to fucking put him down. And if people are pissed about it, then watch soccer.
Jake claimed that it was Mike who wanted this fight to be a pro fight. He said that it's a war now, and he would do anything to get the victory. Jake also told people to go watch soccer or volleyball if they have problems watching this fight.
It's clear that Mike Tyson was the one who wanted it to be a pro fight. I said to Nikisa, if that's what Mike wants, then that's fine. But make sure you tell Mike that there's no holding back. Whatever happens, happens, and this is war now. If he puts me down, I can deal with that. But if I put him down, he needs to be the one making the decision on whether or not he can deal with that. I'm going in there and now it's a pro fight. It's on my record and I'm going to put him down. And if people are pissed about it, then watch soccer.
Stephen Smith was never into this fight. Once the news broke out of the fight being a pro fight, Smith was devastated by it. He stated, "I'm sad. I'm saddened by it. I'm disgusted by it. I don't like it one bit. I'm not taking anything away from the great Mike Tyson, who we all treasure because of the years of greatness he gave us, but he is 57. He questioned that there isn't a reason for this showdown to be a pro fight. I mean, come on, man. Listen, Tyson can hurt anybody, and I'm not dismissing that, but he hasn't been fighting, and Jake Paul hasn't fought any real ranked professional boxers. Why should this be a sanctioned boxing match?" Smith also criticized Jake Paul for fighting a much older Mike Tyson, that too in a pro fight now. He stated, "I like Jake Paul, and I appreciate what he does for the sport of boxing in terms of bringing attention to the sport and showing you can do it promoting yourself as opposed to being at the mercy of promoters. The flip side to it, however, is that he keeps telling us how serious he's taking this and how bad he wants it. Well, okay, if you want the money, man, please keep doing your thing. But if it's not just about that, and if it's about you wanting to elevate your level, then you've got to get in the ring with somebody anybody of your ilk, your age, your size, because he's fought dudes who are smaller than him, by the way, and stuff like that. You gotta do that. Gareth A. Davies was also very concerned upon hearing the news of this fight turning into a proper sanctioned boxing match. He said that he doesn't want to see a boxing legend like Mike Tyson lose to a YouTuber like Jake Paul.
Of heavyweight boxing, the youngest heavyweight champion of the world, of course, Mike Tyson. I don't know if he has to make a comeback, but he wants to make a comeback. He told reporters 20 years ago he was never going to be seen in the ring, and we've had that exhibition bout with Roy Jones Jr., a big selling pay-per-view, 1.6 million pay-per-views it did. It was one of the most, the richest fights of the year when they fought, and it was a hug fest, frankly. It wasn't a great fight.
Former world champion Sergio Mora said that Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson is just not fair because of the age gap between the two. Mora stated, "Man, I've always been a critic of Jake Paul and, having him fight real fighters and boxers, but fighting a fighter that hasn't fought in over 20 years of Mike Tyson. He got beat, 20 years ago, and he got knocked out in the last 2 fights. So at 57, 58 years old, come on. You're fighting a senior citizen, and it's not fair." Mora highlighted the recent training videos that Tyson has been uploading and believes that these 10 seconds training clips are not practical when it comes to a real boxing match. He stated, "He can look like a beast, Mike Tyson, for like the 10-second clips that he posts on social media. Anyone could do it. I could look like a killer right now on the pads for 10 seconds. But as soon as he turns that camera off, I'm gonna be huffing and puffing and sore." Sergio Mora also gave a bold prediction for the fight. He believes that Mike won't survive for long without a headgear. If there's no headgear, I think Mike gets beat up where they probably stopped the fight. The age gap between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul had been the biggest criticism of the mega fight. This age gap not only jeopardizes the well-being of Mike Tyson during the fight, but also the credibility of Jake Paul as a legit boxer too. Paul has previously expressed his thoughts about taking boxing seriously and winning a world title, but his fight against an old and washed-up Mike Tyson is the complete opposite. Oscar De La Hoya believed this, as he thinks Jake can't lead himself to the world title by fighting Mike Tyson.
You say you want to be a world champion. You say you want to take this sport serious. Then take it serious. What is this? This is not a popularity contest. I'm actually praising Jake Paul here to take this serious, because I really truly feel if he fights the right fights and takes the right path to that world title, he can actually get there. I'm not sure, because it's up to him if he can win it, but he can get there. But he's not going to get there through Mike Tyson. He's not going to, he's going to make a shitload of money. He's going to gain more popularity on Mike Tyson's expense. Do I like it? No, because I love Mike Tyson. I'm just concerned about, Tyson's legacy. That's it.
Oscar also mentioned the age gap between the two fighters and advised Paul to avoid these kinds of matches. He stated, "I don't know how that's going to work. Mike Tyson is 60 years old. Jake Paul is 26, 27. If Jake Paul wants to take boxing seriously, take a different route. Take the route that all the other fighters take. Tough fights up the ranks. Top 10 fighters. Top 5 world champions. Not this route with Tyson. That's not the way to do it." When asked about if Tyson can still go toe-to-toe with Jake despite his age, Oscar stated, "Tyson still has the punching power. That's the last thing that goes until you're in your grave. If Tyson catches him with a good one, it's lights out for Jake Paul. Imagine Tyson in a real fight. He still has that punching power." As mentioned before, that KSI has never been a fan of this fight. He expressed his dismay from the day this fight got announced. He stated, "I just feel Jake's legacy will be, he can knock out old people. I think it's super sad. I don't know why Jake took it. It's a lose-lose. There's going to be so many people watching. Millions and millions. Everyone is going to know him as a guy that knocked out an old Mike Tyson." Former British professional boxer Tony Jeffries was also disappointed in Mike Tyson for taking this fight. He believes that even a legend like Mike Tyson can be bought, which makes this situation very sad. He stated, "It's so sad that Mike Tyson has got to do this fight. Someone on Instagram said that he's choosing to do it. But why is he choosing to do this? Well, he's doing it for one reason, and one reason only, and that is money. He's getting so much money to do this, so that tells me that he's getting bought. It's very sad that someone like Mike Tyson, a boxing legend, can get bought. He shouldn't be able to be bought like this. He's 57 years old. He should be enjoying retirement." UFC star Colby Covington simply hated the fight as the age difference between the two fighters concerns him regarding Mike's well-being. Colby believed that this fight would tarnish Mike's legacy. He also accused Jake Paul and his brother Logan Paul for taking steroids.
I think, Mike still looks like a superhuman for 58, but he's still 58 years old, and you know, he shouldn't be fighting anymore. I don't think it's safe. I think it's dangerous. At that age, your heart might explode. You know, he gets hit in the head, he might have a brain bleed. I mean, the guy, that's what I hope for. I hope that Mike Tyson makes it through injury-free and doesn't get hurt. But I don't like the fight. You know, Jake's in his mid-20s. He's doing every chemical known to man. He's literally a lab project. They're just juicing him up, him and his brother. Yeah. Everybody knows that. The machine's behind him, juicing him up, putting every chemical known to man. So I think it's going to end bad. I think, you know, Jake's going to probably knock him out within the first 2 minutes. And if he doesn't, then it'll be because he's carrying him and he's trying to make the freak show look like it's a competitive fight. But I hate the fight. I think it takes away from Mike Tyson's legacy when a guy like this comes in and beats him.
Former world champion Carl Froch also showed distaste towards the upcoming mega fight. He stated, "I stumbled across the news that Jake Paul is fighting the legend, the icon Mike Tyson. I just thought this cannot be happening. You can't be putting a mid-20 guy in his mid-20s in against a guy that's approaching 60. I was thinking surely, not surely, this is like a bit of an exhibition or a bit of a gimmick, or they're having some kind of a steady move around. But Jake Paul is actually officially taking on Iron Mike Tyson. He's an icon in the professional boxing world, and Jake Paul's not even a pro boxer. So when I heard this fight was happening, I was absolutely disgusted, and I think it's so bad for boxing, right?" The notorious Conor McGregor was not sure what to make of this fight, as it seemed a bit strange to him. During an interview for his upcoming film Roadhouse, Conor was asked that what he thinks about the fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. He replied, "Jesus, I don't know. It's a strange one for me. I wish well for Mike." McGregor also accused Jake Paul for setting a bad example for young boxers. He stated, "For me, it does set a bad precedent in the industry. What you've got now is, and I would say this to the young athletes coming up, men and women, don't aspire to be one of these YouTube fighters. Aspire for world titles. Aspire for the Olympics. That is how you etch your name in history, doing these little smash and grab fights. You might get a few likes, but there's nothing substantial to it. It's hollow. It can be profitable, but it's hollow. I'm noticing a trend in young fighters coming up that are not even interested in competing in the amateur scene or rising up to win a national title. You need the gold on the waist. You need to etch your name on the belt." UFC heavyweight Curtis Blades disliked this fight so much that he wasn't even going to watch it if it happened on July 20th. In an interview, the host asked Blades his thoughts on the fight and asked whether he planned to watch it. He said that it's a joke fight and he won't be watching this fight.
"I will not be watching. I think it's a joke fight. You could tell just by how they've been interacting with the face-off and the press conference. That's not the Mike Tyson who's coming to rip your head off. That ain't Iron Mike."
Many also believed that the fight could be scripted. One of the most prominent names in boxing today, Turki Al-Sheikh, believed that this fight might be scripted. He took to X and posted a picture of him and Mike standing together, urging Mike to not follow the script and knock Jake out. Al-Sheikh posted, "Please, brother Mike, forget the script and beat this guy." He's not the only one who believed that, as many think that a script could be followed during this fight. Dalton Smith also issued his concerned thoughts on the fight. Smith stated, "Money talks at the end of the day. If it makes money, it makes sense, as they say. But Tyson is now really old. We saw that against Roy Jones Jr. in that exhibition. Paul is younger and fresher, so for me, it is not to my taste at all. I'd like to think it is scripted, to be honest. It would be better if it was scripted. I'd hate to see Mike Tyson go in there and get knocked out by Jake Paul." Teddy Atlas questioned the legitimacy of this fight by comparing it to the WWE. "Unless this is a WE agreement, which I don't know that it is. I never said this before because I think all these fights are legitimate, and they are and have been. But this one makes me wonder." Even fans were concerned for Mike's well-being, as during the second press conference of their fight, Mike was constantly asked about how he deals with the criticism of him fighting a young Jake Paul at this age. But Mike somewhat neglected those questions and counter-questioned every time this topic was brought up.
How do you respond to people who are critical about this fight taking place in the first place at all because of your differences, particularly your age?
Well, I don't see too many people critical about it. Look at this. Ha 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 ha.
Mike even got mad at a fan who said that he was too old to fight Jake Paul.
I think he just called Mike Tyson a gimmick.
Mike Tyson's 58 years old, or will be at the time of the fight, yes.
So
as much as I respect Mike Tyson and his...
What did you just call me again?
I didn't call you anything.
What did you call me?
I didn't call you anything.
But now that those concerns came to be true, it's valid that the fight got postponed for now. However, there were also many pros who believed that Mike Tyson is too dangerous even at this age. Some believe that Jake is doing a great job, as this fight brings major attention and money towards boxing. Tyson Fury had been one of those rare pros who supported this fight. Fury believed that Mike Tyson could knock out anybody if he hit them. He says that it doesn't matter if Mike's 57 or 90. If Mike hits you, it's game over. If Mike Tyson hits anybody, I don't care if he's 90, he's going to knock them out cold, isn't he? He praised Jake Paul Paul and said that he has become experienced in boxing, but when asked who he picks to win this fight, Fury didn't hesitate to choose Mike. He's Iron Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet. Jake Paul is very experienced now, and he's had a lot of fights, but obviously, I have to back Mike Tyson for the knockout as he always backs me. Fury believed that it's a fantastic fight because of the amount of money it would generate. He stated, "I think it's fantastic. I think it's created a lot of money. One for Texas, selling all of those tickets. That means it's a big influence of dollars being spent in the local area. All of Mike's team and Jake's team is being fed from it, and a lot of rent is being paid. I don't know what to be negative about. I'm over the moon about it and looking forward to it." Former WWE champion Rob Van Dam also believed that this bout is really interesting. He thinks the way that people have different opinions on this fight is what makes it unique. RVD stated, "The whole concept is intriguing and exciting. The feedback has really pulled me into it because it's almost like politics, where the people seem so split and everyone is so positive that they're right. I've seen so many comments about, man, he's going to fight a 60-year-old man. Wait, he's saying he wants to be a serious boxer, and he's going after a retired 60-year-old? No one's going to take him seriously. Come on, dude." And there's the other ones like, nah, Tyson is going to hurt him no matter what. That's Mike Tyson. Both sides, like I said, just like politics. Lennox Lewis said that he saw Mike train recently and believed that Mike has still got those combinations. He also advised Jake to avoid the combination from Mike and not get into the way of his heavy hands.
I think it's going to be a good fight. I mean, you know, Mike Tyson, what he does is two-dimensional. He's going to come at you, trying to knock you out. Now, you got to try and stay away from him, stay away from his power. I seen him working out the other day, and he throws some good combinations. So those 6-punch combinations, he has to make sure. I'm talking Jake Paul. Make sure that he's not in the way of those punches because Tyson's a real fighter.
Mike's former trainer, Freddie Roach, also has good things to say about Mike, as he believes that he'll do well in this fight.
You know, I used to train Tyson. I like Mike a lot, and he does come by my gym once in a while to say hello and visit and stuff. And then all of a sudden this fight's coming up, and it's a younger, maybe stronger man. But no, I can't say stronger.
Anthony Joshua analyzed this fight perfectly, as he said that hardcore boxing fans might not like this idea, but influencers do bring a huge audience with them, which is a good thing for boxing.
I think that the boxing hardcores, like the boxing fanatics, they don't like it because it's like, why are they disrespecting our sport? There's an Olympic system that you have to go through, and once you're qualified there, then you go through to the professional ranks. Whereas someone with a profile can just come out of nowhere and fight one of the best guys. But I think, let's say we divided this crowd in half, and you've got half of the people that are hardcore boxing fans and half of the people that love a certain person that's into YouTube.
Like a YouTuber, yeah.
But that person brings all of these people into boxing, which benefits everyone else that's involved.
Because some of them might stay not just for that match, they might get into the sport.
And it's a tough game, so everyone viewing helps. So I think it's really good for people that need like some exposure.
Boxing heavyweight legend Vladimir Klitschko praised this fight as he believes that Mike fighting in this age is a good example for people to never give up. He believes that age is just a number and even considers coming back to boxing after seeing Mike performing at such age.
Well, that's also outstanding as this fight in Riyadh. Mike Tyson at his age is facing a YouTuber that is much younger and hungry and capable of boxing as well. So it's going to be a good example for people that are at Mike's age.
Yeah.
It's also actually a good example for me to keep on punching, so to speak, and hopefully, and I look forward to that match as well. You can only be too old in your mind.
Yeah.
If you control your